I'm just going to say it. This deck, Flux. Today we're playing Aetherflux Reservoir off of Death Wish. Let's go check it out. Today we're playing a donation deck from community member and supporter Goif, and Goif really liked that previous video I recorded that you could find on the card above, where we debuted Death Wish in this deck, Sultai Saga Storm as most people would like to call it, and then you got your sideboard copy of Debt to the Deathless in order to beat Veil of Summer or the One Ring. And Goif said, well, why don't you just play Aetherflux Reservoir? Because in that previous video, I said that I did not like Debt to the Deathless costing 17 mana when you need to Death Wish into Debt to the Deathless and then pay X equals to 10 mana. So they said Aetherflux Reservoir would be more easy to use and win with, and I agree with that, and so did the rest of the community who watched that video. And since then, there's been a number of people that have posted 5-0 results with Aetherflux Reservoir, so Goif submitted this deck list today just to showcase their idea of Aetherflux Reservoir, but I made one small change. I put in one copy of Skateboard over the 4th copy of Veil of Summer. Trinisphere is picking up in Legacy right now due to Hexing Squelcher, making Chalice of the Void worse. Well, Skateboard taps Trinisphere, which turns it off, which is nice. It also taps other other permanents, and those permanents could include a blue mana that's holding open Consigned Memory, for example, or it could tap a blocker, or other things like that. So Skateboard, I think, in general, just means that the Urza Saga Construct beatdown plan is a lot better, but it gives you some other utility as well. So I am interested in playing Skateboard as this super utility card in our deck over the 8th protection spell. I feel like 8 protection spells is a lot. Like, really, it's a lot. Most deck lists play 4 to 6. Some play 7, but 7 is even a stretch. So we're playing 7 today. I think 8 is overkill, and we're going to see how the Skateboard does. Once again, thank you to Goif for the donation deck. I hope you all enjoy the video. If you do, like, comment, subscribe, support the channel. And I, hope to see all of you in the first round. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We are on the draw, and I've opened up a turn 1 win. We're going to keep this. I have no idea what our opponent's playing, but we're going to try to make the best of it. If our opponent's playing a blue deck, we have a turn 1 Brainstorm plus fetch land to get rid of the Gaia's Will. And then if they're not on a blue deck, it turns out that they're on Oops All Spells and Nothing Matters, Life is Meaningless, we would have had a turn 1 win. So now we're looking to brainstorm into a good hand. They take the Infernal Tutor, Dark Ritual's the draw, so we'll play the Verdant Catacombs, Lion's Eye Diamond, hoping to brainstorm into Infernal Tutor or Wishclaw Talisman here. We'll play the Brainstorm. We missed. We'll get rid of the... I could go all in on Brainstorm. That might give us our best chance here. So we'll play out the other diamond. We'll fetch. So I can cast Brainstorm in response, crack 2 copies of Lion's Eye Diamond and pray. I think that's the best thing we could possibly do here. Otherwise, we're probably dead next turn. So we'll make a blue. We'll hold priority and cast the Brainstorm. And then we'll make 3 black and 3 black. I guess, in theory, I could do blue in case I hit another Brainstorm. But then if I drew Infernal Tutor... I guess I'd still have another diamond. This is probably fine. Hey! Let's go! We'll put these 2 on top. And we will cast Ad Nauseam. In response, we'll add 3 black. Okay. Good start. We're at 4. We'll stop. We'll play a Lotus Petal. Let's play the Thoughtseize and confirm that they're on Oops All Spells. They are, in fact, on Oops All Spells. We'll take the Pact of Negation. It doesn't really matter. Play Chrome Mox. Imprint, Infernal Tutor. And now we'll cast Tendrils of Agony. Okay, our opponent decided to not kill us on turn 1. I like that. We will bring in Leyline of the Void and the Helm of Obedience. We'll get rid of the Ad Nauseam. We don't need Veil of Summer. We likely don't need the Skateboard. That brings us down to 60. It's worth noting we likely don't need the Death Wish either, but I'm not sure if there's a card I'd rather sideboard in here. I think I'm going to just hit submit. Game number 2 on the draw. We've opened up Leyline of the Void. I do not have a payoff spell, but we do have an Urza Saga. So we could look to be Construct Gamers versus Oops-All spells, which is something, I suppose. Opponent with a mulligan to 5. Imagine waking up in the morning and choosing to be an Oops-All spells gamer. Couldn't be me. Ugh. Gross. They mulligan to 4. Leyline of the Void. They play their land. And Thoughtseize. Joke's on you, my hand stinks. They take the Lion's Eye Diamond. Another Leyline of the Void. Will play Verdant Catacombs and pass. They have 2 cards remaining in their hand. They play a land. So they're on the blue build with Force of Will in it. Interesting. You don't see that too often. I assume that's what this land means. We'll grab Undercity Sewers. Get rid of the Chrome Mox. Draw another Marsh Flats. We'll play Urza Saga. And I think I'm actually going to play out the second Leyline of the Void here, just so that, because they're on the blue build, they likely only have single answers, so no Force of Vigor. And now we'll pass. They draw and pass. Our Saga will go to the second chapter. We'll play Marsh Flats, play out the Chrome Mox, pass the turn. They have another land. They're down to 12. This looks like a Goblin Charbelcher. No, the initiative creature. Okay, well, this is spicy at least. I mean, you got to give them a little bit of credit here. And they boarded in a swamp. Alright, so they're on a very odd juke here. We'll do Underground Mortuary. Oh no! I just punted. I was so enamored with this that I punted. Oh, that's pretty good. Punting get rewarded, I suppose. So we'll tap this for a mana. We will grab Lotus Petal, player land. We'll fetch, grab Underground Sea, play Helm of Obedience, and activate target you. You know, I misplayed, but my deck was not going to allow me to lose, which I appreciate. And we get to see their crazy sideboard. They do have Force of Will. They have this initiative creature. So they're just boarding into like initiative beatdown, which is kind of funny. I've never seen this juke before, but that's the thing about Oops-All spells is it doesn't really need a full sideboard. So you're able to do things like this. And we talk about that on the most recent episode of the Eternal Glory podcast as well. But we get match number 1, which is great. Love to see Oops-All spells lose. Can't stand that deck. And we are now 1-0. Packs.com is the new way to open your favorite cards. It's a site where you open digital packs of trading cards like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and One Piece cards, and have the cards you open mailed quickly and securely to you. With a wide range of packs to choose from, such as the latest Magic sets, Kaladesh inventions, or even beta. I'm going to open a beta pack. What's great about Packs.com is you can see all of the cards and their odds of being opened in each pack. Now it's time to open one and see what I get. Come on, Black Lotus! If you don't like what you opened, you could sell it back instantly for more packs, or sell it and pick a specific card from the marketplace over at packs.com/market. If you want to check out packs.com, make sure to click the link in the description of this video and use code STORM5 when making a purchase for 5% extra on your first purchase. We are back for the second match and we're on the play. Let's see if we can pull another rabbit out of a hat. Alright, so this is turn 1 Thoughtseize into a likely turn 2 win. We'll keep. Our opponent tanked on a mulligan for a while, then ultimately decided to keep their 6-card hand. We'll play Chrome Mox, Imprinting, Beseech the Mirror, and then a Thoughtseize. Force of Will, Show and Tell, and a Ponder. We'll take the Force of Will, play the Polluted Delta, and pass the turn. Volcanic Island into Ponder. We would like to see a shuffle here. They did not shuffle, so they could have found Force of Will. All we need is a mana, and then we have a win, right? Or am I wrong? I might be wrong here, because I don't think we have the mana on the way back. So it would have to be like a Mox Opal. A land wouldn't do it, or a Dark Ritual would. But we missed on everything. Okay, well that stinks. We'll try again. Likely having to pass the turn. So that is the mana, but I don't have the Imprintable. So I'm going to have to pass here. We'll put Brainstorm on the bottom, Chromox on top. Yeah, we were just, if this Opal, if we had found a fetch land, I could have gone. Like, Opal plus fetch land could have done it. But I think now they kept on the Ponder, which tells me we're probably dead. They played the Ancient Tomb into probably Atraxa, Emrakul. Okay. So, maybe they don't have it. We'll play Mox Opal, Chrome Mox, imprint the Veil of Summer. We will now hold priority and cast the Infernal Tutor and sacrifice for 3 black. Infernal Tutor on the stack, Storm 3. So your Ponder was Forcible blue card, large creature. Yeah, okay. Greatest Ponder of all time. Wow. They had 1 unknown card in their hand. Sometimes you lose. I don't think we want any of these cards. I'm going to resubmit the same configuration. On the play. So we have the Guy's Will in our hand. We also have the Ad Nauseam in our hand. This Infernal Tutor has no target. Unfortunately, we have to mulligan. So I could go Chromox Imprint Tendrils, bottoming the Skateboard into a turn 1 Wishclaw, but I don't think that's actually good. I think you're pressured to keep this even though I don't want to. I think I'm actually going to hold the Skateboard in case I draw into Brainstorm. I don't think there's any value into playing it out here. Polluted Delta, Lotus Petal. Well, I did draw Brainstorm. Let's see if it resolves. I did not find a fetch land. So Skateboard can go on the bottom, and then Chromox on top. So I think with the way that our hand is, we're hoping for another Show and Tell into Emrakul. And then we could put in Wishclaw Talisman and see what happens. Thundering Falls. They play an island and Ponder. They did not shuffle. So I could go Chromox and print Veil of Summer, play Lotus Petal, play Wishclaw Talisman with Veil of Summer backup. And then if they fight, I could Veil of Summer and we'd have 4 leftover mana, which is not enough to do anything. So I'm going to pass. They have an Ancient Tomb into Sneak Attack. No large monster, huh? Well, I think we have to go. So we'll imprint the Veil of Summer, play Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, and now we'll try Wishclaw Talisman. We need them to fight here. They didn't do it. So they didn't have a creature last turn. I think I'm going to just pass because I'm not going to go all in on Beseech the Mirror and lose. They drew Brainstorm, Scalding Tarn. They now fetch. Ooh, that's not good for me. Stock Up digs very deep to find a large monster here. Or even if it doesn't, you know, the second or third layer of protection. We'll cast Brainstorm again. We'll put back Skateboard, Verdant Catacombs. We'll fetch, grab Bayou, Brainstorm again. Well, we did find another layer of protection, but I just don't think it's good enough here. 1 mana short is my point, and I think I should have thought more about the Brainstorm. They just seem to have a lot. We'll take the Force of Will, and I think we have to pass. They have double Ponder on their turn to dig for a large creature. Here's the first one. They did not shuffle. They found something. Atraxa. They found Emrakul. They're also playing Mindbreak Trap. Okay. That's brutal. And we lose match number 2 to Sneak and Show. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Time for the third match. We are on the draw. We're likely facing someone who's playing lands. So versus lands, Wishclaw Talisman ends up being a pretty big liability because it gets hosed by Disruptor Flute, which is a concern of mine. Veil of Summer is basically a mulligan. This hand would be very good versus Fair Blue, but versus a deck like lands, I think it's a mulligan. This hand is even worse. We'll go down to 5. Suppose we'll get rid of Brainstorm and Beseech the Mirror. I don't know. Beseech the Mirror in this deck only gets Gaia's Will. And if we're facing lands, they're the crop rotation deck. So I don't think that's something we want. They play Mox Diamond, Thespian Stage, And a Malevolent Rumble mills over a life from the loam, which is very good for them. Veil of Summer, not particularly great. We'll play Polluted Delta and pass. They do not dredge the life from the loam, which is interesting. They play Urza Saga. I think I'll Surveil on the end step. If they crop rotation Wasteland, I think that's just like something we need to accept here. I'd like to get my Surveil in. I think I keep it. It's an extra mana to help me accelerate into a potential ad nauseum. It also means that I can Surveil off of the Verdant Catacombs. We will play the Chrome Mox, imprint Veil of Summer. We're going to Beseiju it. That works for me. Thank you. We'll grab our basic Swamp. Actually, no, they play Ghost Quarter, right? Let's just grab Underground Sea. And now we'll play Wishclaw Talisman. Pass the turn. Play from the loam. They did not dredge the life from the loam. Interesting. So, you don't have a second green source, or you have the win? It might be the fact that they don't have the second green source. Or they have life from the loam in hand. Okay. So it looks like they can destroy my Wishclaw Talisman now. Brutal. We'll grab Underground Mortuary. Get rid of the Lotus Petal. Need a good draw, like a Brainstorm into Infernal Tutor. We'll play Urza Saga, pass the turn. I mentioned Brainstorm because I need to get this Veil of Summer out of my hand. That is part of what I need to accomplish here. Their Saga is going to the 3rd chapter. They're going to make a construct, finds Expedition Map, and Wasteland. They destroy my Saga. They life from the loam again. We'll draw for turn. Lotus Petal. Okay, we will pass. They play Wasteland. Destroys my Undercity Sewers. So we're at the point where I need to draw like almost exactly ad nauseum. I'm not sure if I see many other opportunities to win this. Polluted Delta, play it and pass. End step, they destroy my Bayou with the Beseiju indoors. We'll grab Swamp. So my fetch lands have no more targets. I think we can just quit wasting time and go to game number 2. So we saw one of the struggles of Black Saga Storm this match, where our 7 was great versus blue, but not great versus non-blue. Our 6 was unplayable, and our 7 was fairly mediocre. I'm sorry, our 5 was fairly mediocre. And in a deck like this without Echo of Aeons, there is no reset button. So you're sort of forced to play garbage time that you don't really want to. And I think that game was in fact garbage time. It's not that the deck is bad, it's just that it was not a meaningful thing we could do. So we're going to get the Veil of Summers out of the deck. We're at 59 cards. We'll bring in the Abrupt Decay. I think that this is fine. We'll try it. It's sort of why I gravitate towards the Echo of Aeons Legacy Storm decks, and less so the Ad Nauseam decks. The Ad Nauseam decks, every mulligan is so punishing, just because it's such an expensive card to get on the stack. Don't think we're allowed to keep this. Another benefit of this deck is that you have Urza Saga to search out Lion's Eye Diamond. A lot of the non-blue decks in the format are in fact Wasteland strategies, which hurts. So this is fine. We'll keep this. Get rid of the Underground Mortuary. So you're really hoping to draw a Dark Ritual or Lion's Eye Diamond is your draw step for your second turn. We'll grab the basic Swamp and play Thoughtseize. I think we just take the Mox Diamond here. Try to slow them down a touch. Pass the turn. They play Savannah into the Expedition Map. There we go. Alright, so this is a turn 2 ad nauseum. Admittedly, this one is off slightly lower resources, but this is also a top-end draw. We'll hold priority and cast the Infernal Tutor, sacrifice for black, and black. Grab ad nauseum, put it on the stack. Okay, well, here we go. All the way down to 11. There's a Saga, Mox Opal, Marsh Flats, Lion's Eye Diamond. This should be good enough. I'm at 10. All the resources in the world. Just showing them my sideboard cards at this point. I'll stop at 4, cast Dark Ritual, and the opponent concedes. Nice. Off to game number 3. No changes on my side. We're going to just run it back. This is good. So, we could use more mana, but I think ultimately this hand is close enough. You have Thoughtseize to hit Endurance or anything like that. You have the tools to potentially clear the way so Beseech the Mirror Nagaiswell can actually work, because you do have double Thoughtseize. Our best draw would likely be like Lion's Eye Diamond, but an average draw that I would be happy with would be a black card to imprint onto Chrome Mox. They start off with a Yavimaya Cradle of Growth into Exploration, Urza Saga, Abrupt Decay. Well, that one does in fact imprint. So we'll imprint the Abrupt Decay, play the Thoughtseize, take the Force of Vigor, play Urza Saga, pass the turn. Urza Saga goes to the second chapter. They have a Dark Depths. So another Chromox gets us close. Diamond wins. Urza Saga goes to the second chapter. Petal doesn't do it. So let's just get the Thoughtseize out of my hand. We'll target them. Disruptor Flute. Okay. And they name Dark Ritual. Well, that's just rude. I don't need the Dark Ritual to win next turn, assuming our opponent doesn't draw anything to stop me. Saga goes to the third chapter. They make a construct. They can grab a Grafdigger's Cage here to shut off Beseech Dimir. And then we have... Ooh, they did not get Grafdigger's Cage. No way! No way! Wow, this person drew Disruptor Flute into the answer for my Urza Saga. That's so punishing here. Wow. I have to pass. So they do have Expedition Map. They could go get Thespian Stage. They could also just grab like a Wasteland or something. But it makes sense for them to start off by attacking. This will knock me down to 13. They drew Wasteland, which means that I can't grab a Surveil Land. They're going to use the Wasteland. Interesting. Okay, so that means that they're planning to use the Expedition Map to go grab another Wasteland. I'll grab Undercity Sewers. Ding dong. We found the best card in the deck. Lion's Eye Diamond is on top of our library. They're going to use the Expedition Map. They grab another Wasteland. Sure. So we have an Ad Nauseam from 12 life. We will have a land drop, but we have used 1 Chromox and 2 Lotus Petals. So now we will hold control, cast the Infernal Tutor, sacrifice Lion's Eye Diamond for 3 black, Ad Nauseam from 12 life. Will it be good enough? That's the question. Storm is 5. I'm at 10 now. Okay. Brainstorm. I'm at 4. A lot of cards that kill us, and we have no mana. So I could play Haywire Might block. Well, I guess I could take the hit here and just go to 2. But I could also just play the Haywire Might. So let's talk through this. I could go Chromox, Imprint Infernal Tutor, play Haywire Might, Underground Mortuary, pass, and that gives me 4 mana next turn for Beseech Dimir. I would lose if they top decked. But I could flip here. I have 1 more Beseech Dimir and 1 Tendrils of Agony that kill me. But also if I flipped over the guys, well, I'd hate myself. Am I supposed to stop? I think the answer might actually be yes. We'll stop here. Play the Underground Mortuary. Well, I wouldn't have wanted to flip that anyway, so that can go to the graveyard. We'll play Chromox. We can get rid of the Infernal Tutor. Play Haywire Might. Pass the turn. We'll get rid of the... I guess I could just take it. Let's go to 2. I think going to 2 is better. Because even if I decide not to go for it, I could block and then answer. Oh my god. They ripped Bazooka Bog. That's... Wow. Oh my. I'm stunned here. Truly stunned. Pass the turn. This person has had like 3 or 4 consecutive just like perfect draws. We'll go to blocks. Before damage. Let's get rid of the Disruptor Flute. This is where it turns out that their draw set for the turn was Thespian Stage. No? Okay. I guess I'm also dead to a crop rotation here, actually. So it could have been that. Our Saga goes to the second chapter. I will play Urza Saga. Please don't kill me. Pretty please. Alright, they did not have an end step crop rotation. They do not attack with their construct. End step. We'll make a construct. I boarded out my skateboard, so that's not an option here. We draw Mox Opal for turn. So the new Urza Saga has 2 counters. Before this one goes away, let me look at my sideboard real quick. Yeah, the skateboard's there. Our Exile has the Death Wish in it. I think I could actually create a win here if I don't make a construct. But I like the idea of making a construct just to not lose to like a Disruptor Flute or something. Or like another piece of Yard Hate, like Endurance. We'll grab a Lion's Eye Diamond. Play the Mox Opal. Swing for 6. We're going to take it down to 14. So I have 1 Abrupt Decay in my deck that doesn't do anything. Boomerang Basics doesn't answer Merit Lodge. I could Beseech Dimir for Gaia's Will. They would have to have Endurance. So Storm is 1, Beseech Dimir would be 2. Guy's Will would be 3, replay Diamond is 4, replay Opal is 5, Tendrils of Agony is 6. So I don't have another Beseech the Mirror in the deck. So I'm actually a Storm short. So I'd have to brainstorm into something. We'll play the Brainstorm. Okay, I believe I still have a land. We'll fetch down to 3. Let's just count this one more time. So Beseech the Mirror would be Storm 3, Bargain the Opal. Guy's Will would be Storm 4. Storm 5 would be Lionside Diamond. Storm 6 would be Beseech. Storm 7 would be Tendrils. Okay. So we will Beseech the Mirror with Bargain, sacrifice Mox Opal. We will cast Guy's Will, sacrifice Lionside Diamond for 3 black. They have Fairy Macabre. Okay. Replay the Mox Opal. I can replay my Haywire Might. I mean, that's something. I'd rather they Fairy Macabre me than Endurance. Play Brainstorm. So if I didn't replay the Haywire Might, I'd have 3 mana, which is still 1 short. So I think here we just, like, play Wishclaw Pass. Alright. 2 mana, 3 mana. They take a counter off of Dark Depths. They have a Wasteland. Goodbye to my Urza Saga. We draw the Lionside Diamond. Tendrils of Agony is the top card. We will swing. They block a Construct, and they're going to take 8 down to 6. Lionside Diamond. We'll use the Wishclaw Talisman. I didn't realize this list must have 3 Beseech the Mirrors. Or unless I'm crazy. Or is that the first Beseech, and I was counting 2, because I still have 1 in the deck. I'll just grab this Beseech the Mirror, I suppose. And now we'll bargain Beseech the Mirror, sacrificing Mox Opal. And we win the match. That game was ugly, but we ended up getting there, and we are now 2-1. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. We are back for the 4th match on the draw. This hand is really close to being a win. We have Veil of Summer if our opponent's on a blue deck. We're 1 mana shy of a turn 1 deterministic win if they're not. There's a lot to like here. The bad part of this hand is the second copy of Infernal Tutor. If that was a fetch land, this hand would be near perfect. Our opponent plays Polluted Delta, for an Underground Sea, and Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. Alright, so they are in fact on a blue deck. We draw another Lotus Petal. Okay. So if this Brainstorm hits like a Dark Ritual, this could be a protected turn 1 win. We'll play Mox Opal. I think I'm going to play Diamond now, because if they Force of Will this, I Veil of Summer, and then I drew a mana, that would also work. But they did not. I will Brainstorm. So I have everything I need to win next turn. We're going to hide the Veil of Summer on top, play the Chrome Mox, and then pass the turn. So my hand is even Thoughtseize proof here. They thought a long time about this Chrome Mox. So they clearly have something. They now attack with Tamiyo. Wasteland. I don't even have lands. Well, what good is that? I will Veil of Summer. That just resolves. So this should be a win now. Holding priority on Infernal Tutor. We'll sacrifice Lionside Diamond for 3 black. Grab Beseech the Mirror. Yeah, there's only 2 copies of Beseech the Mirror, so that means in the previous round I must have had the first copy when I thought it was the second. They draw off the Clue token. We'll grab the other copy of Beseech the Mirror. Sacrifice the Chrome Mox. And now we'll grab Gaia's Will. Firm is 5. Play the Lionside Diamond. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. Mox Opal. And then the opponent concedes. Alright, so we take game number 1 from Dimir. We would like Carpet of Flowers. Abrupt Decay is fine-ish. They do have Dothy Voidwalker, sometimes 1 Null Rod. I think it's acceptable. I do like Skateboard in this matchup. I have found that it pressures Tamiyo quite well. So we need to find some cuts here. We probably don't need the Death Wish, which makes me feel bad because I want to win using Aetherflux Reservoir in this video. It's just not the right place or time. And then I think we're supposed to shave down some number of artifacts. We will try this. I know this seems crazy. I'm going to keep it. So my logic here is that this is a Daze Wasteland matchup, and you're on the draw versus a Thoughtseize deck anyway. So mulliganing against a Thoughtseize deck is going to be painful. I understand, which they do have here on turn 1. but at least I have stable mana. So that is why I'm keeping this, because I'm not going to lose to Daze Wasteland. We'll put the Saga on top. And ideally, if they do have a Wasteland, they fire it off because they know that I don't have Saga in hand. So there's the Wasteland into Grafdigger's Cage. Okay. So I'm going to not play out the Saga here because I'm going to try to get them to destroy lands that I clearly do not care about. They attack with Tamiyo. She creates a clue. And now they ponder. Misty Rainforest will fetch. I don't think we showed them Saga last game, so they don't necessarily know about it. Get rid of the Dark Ritual. We'll play Polluted Delta. Let's try the Carpet of Flowers. That resolves, and now we'll pass. And step they draw off the clue. Another Thoughtseize. So now they know that I have Urza Saga in hand. Ponder. They get to attack and create another clue here. Then if they wanted to, they could play a land and transform the Tamiyo. Another Wasteland. And it looks like they are, in fact, going to transform Tamiyo here. Tamiyo up to 4. Veil of Summer's the draw step. I think we just play the Saga and pass. Veil of Summer is a decent draw, though, because it means that if I were to draw like a Beseech Dimir, we could try for a protected win. Goodbye to the Urza Saga. Tamiyo up to 6 loyalty. They play Verdant Catacombs for a 3rd Underground Sea. Now a Ponder. Maybe Beseech Dimir was a bad example because there is a Grafdigger's Cage in play. So I guess I want Infernal Tutor. That would be my best draw. We'll fetch here just to thin because I'm running out of time. Chrome Mox is not a good draw step. Play the Verdant Catacombs and now we'll pass. Orcish Bowmasters, sure. I mean, I would also take an Abrupt Decay just to clear the Tamiyo and give me some more time. They have 4 cards in hand. They plus the Tamiyo up to 8 loyalty. I think I'm going to keep the Verdant Catacombs in case I draw Brainstorm. Nope. We'll make black. I have to hope that they don't have interaction and that they try to Brainstorm in response. It's the only way I can win here. So they do have the interaction and we'll just concede. Alright, so we lose game number 2. We'll try again in game 3. On the play. Yeah, we keep these. We'll begin with the Lion's Eye Diamond. Undercity Sewers. I don't think I want Beseech Dimir. I will pass. They have a turn 1 Thoughtseize. My hand is Thoughtseize proof to some extent. They should take a Brainstorm here because double Wishclaw Talisman is pretty clunky. But they respectfully disagree. I'll play a Brainstorm before they can hit me with an Orcish Bowmasters. And this was very good. I think I'm actually going to get rid of Wishclaw Talisman Brainstorm. I will pass the turn. As of right now, I have a deterministic win next turn with protection. So we'll see what they do here. They play a land. I'm going to Surveil on their end step. Grab the Underground Mortuary. I think I keep this. We will play Thoughtseize. Well, I do not have a deterministic win. Ah, that hurts. What a hand. What a hand. And now I can't Carpet of Flowers either. This might be crazy. I'm going to take the Force of Will and not the Force of Negation because I don't want them to Wasteland me. And I know that seems foolish, but they might leave open Hardcast Force of Negation, which allows me to play Carpet of Flowers. They Surveil a Polluted Delta to the graveyard. They play the Wasteland. They use it. Okay. Unfortunate. Another Dark Ritual. We will pass. Now they play the Verdant Catacombs. So we know that they have Daze Force of Negation. Play Lion's Eye Diamond. Play the Mox Opal. Consign to Memory. Okay. Pass the turn. They now play a Ponder. 1 unknown card in their hand before the Ponder resolves, which will bring them up to 2. They fetch Gothy Voidwalker. Okay. I'm going to try to get them to Daze here. Dark Ritual. They do in fact Daze. Pass the turn. They swing. We'll go to 14. They replay the land. Chrome Mox. Let's play it. Another Consign to Memory. Okay. Dark Ritual. They hardcast it. No, they floated a blue and returned. Okay. So I got the Dazes out of the hand. This time they picked up the Undercity Sewers where they didn't the previous time. So they still have a Sewers in their hand. They're holding open Force of Negation. Let's try Brainstorm. We end up finding protection, which is great. I'm going to hide the 2 tutors on top and pass the turn. They search out Underground Sea. 4 cards in their hand. Now they play the Undercity Sewers. Prevails away Grafdigger's Cage. and they swing. I will go to 8 life. Currently, my game plan is ad nauseum from 7, which doesn't feel great. We'll play the Lotus Petal, and we will try Carpet of Flowers. That resolves. We will switch phases, trigger, say yes. We'll make green. Veil of Summer. Storm is 3. We know that they have Force of Negation. So I could ad nauseum here and only sacrifice 1 diamond. Storm is 5. They're at 15. So we'll get rid of 1 diamond. My top card is a Wish Claw. Tutor on the stack. They have another Force. Okay. So now they have no hand. They draw Engineered Explosives. Oh, wow. I feel like I've hit some bad variants. I won't lie. Our opponents have drawn quite well. I do have 2 copies of Abrupt Decay left. That could buy me some time in order to potentially win this. But I'd have to draw it with my next draw step. They swing and I go to 1. And they drew Orcish Bowmasters. Oh, wow. Yeah, you got me. Then we lose the match. You know, sometimes it's just not your day, and that happens. We are now 2-2, but we're going to try to get match number 5 and hopefully get to use Aetherflux Reservoir. The Gold Sabertooth times the Epic Storm collection has arrived with 3 full-size tokens showcasing the beloved Dark Ritual, CDH Rogsai, and Legacy of the Epic Storm for just $5. On the backs of these tokens, there's a place for my signature or a custom message. In addition to these sweet tokens, a friendly reminder that all orders that ship from theepicstorm.com also come with a signed Storm token from yours truly. The 5th and final match, we are on the play. Sure, we'll keep. This is a fine hand. Like, I don't think it's incredible, but we have discard, we have tutors, we have saga. Like, there's a lot of things to like here. We'll use our marsh flats and go grab the basic swamp. Play Thoughtseize. Looks like they're on initiative. We'll take the Anointed Peacekeeper. Pass the turn. They play Chrome Mox, Imprints Elvish Spirit Guide, City of Traders. They use Simian Spirit Guide, and now I have to imagine it's an Undermountain Adventurer, and it is. They search out a basic mountain. We draw Chrome Mox, we'll play Urza's Saga, and Wish Claw Talisman. We are in a spot where I could win the game next turn. It just depends on what our opponent does right now. They attack with the Undermountain Adventure, I'm at 14. They play a Cavern of Souls. And they drew a Summon Yojimbo from Final Fantasy, which exiles my Wish Claw Talisman. So I no longer have a win this turn. Well, 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 look who we drew. I guess we do have a win this turn. Alright, fetch with a Polluted Delta, Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, Chrome Mox. No. We will Infernal Tutor, sacrifice for black. Go grab Beseech the Mirror. Bargain the Chrome Mox. And now we'll grab Gaia's Will. We'll float a black. And now we'll go through the graveyard. Okay, so our opponent concedes, and we're going to win game number 1. Our opponent could be a 1-ring deck, so I'm going to leave in the Death Wish. I think that's a card we're definitely interested in. But I'm also interested in Boomerang Basics, Abrupt Decay, and the Haywire Might. I'm less interested in Veil of Summer. Probably not the Skateboard. We need one more cut. On the draw, I think it's going to be Thoughtseize. On the play, I could see keeping it, but on the draw, I think it's okay to shape 1. So, this hand is very slow. You have turn 1 Sewers that's tapped, which means that Thoughtseize does nothing. Abrupt Decay, you can't cast. Opal's dead. I think this would be an okay hand versus a blue deck, but not Naya Initiative. This is better. Keep. Get rid of the second copy of Thoughtseize. They begin with a copy of Once Upon a Time. They find Elvish Spirit Guide, Cavern of Souls, turn 1 Clarion Conqueror. That's annoying. Alright, so we'll play turn 1 Thoughtseize. We mean this could be a game that we win with Urza's Saga. Another Clarion Conqueror, I'll take that. Pass the turn. They play the second Cavern of Souls. They swing for 3, I go to 15. Another Mox Opal. So I could try to draw a land next turn that would allow me to beat them down with constructs. Or if I draw the Boomerang Basics, we just have a win. So I will play out the Wishclaw Talisman here. It's risky because if I don't draw the land, we're in a hole. Now they swing. I'll go to 12. Well, Urza Saga is a land. Alright, I guess we're going to try to beat them down the old-fashioned way. And I boarded out my skateboard like a dummy. Pass the turn. And they have the 4th mana here to play their Seasoned Dungeoneer. Yep. They ended up grabbing a basic mountain. I cannot block the Clarion Conqueror. It is a flying dragon. My constructs do not fly. I'm at 9. Next turn, they can go to Forge, and they have 8 damage on the board, so that would put me to 1. I'm not quite dead yet. We actually ripped Boomerang Basics, oh my. Okay, so let's see if I can actually do the Aetherflux win here. Let's go grab a diamond. We'll begin with Boomerang Basics, getting rid of the Clarion Conqueror. We'll float a black, Mox Opal, tap the Urza's. I guess we don't have to tap Saga quite yet. Tap the Opal for a blue. We'll make black, black. And now we'll use the Wish Claw. Our opponent, I did message them saying, hey, this is supposed to be a video where I try to Aetherflux Reservoir. Do you mind seeing if I can actually go the distance? And they were like, yeah, go for it. So we're going to try to win with Aetherflux Reservoir here, just for Goyf, so that way they can see their pet idea in action. So we're going to Guy's Will, and then tap the Saga. We'll play a diamond, sack the diamond for more mana. We're going to Beseech the Mirror, sacrifice the Urza Saga, and now we can Death Wish. This will put me down to 4. Yes. We'll grab the Aetherflux Reservoir, and now we can play it. Play Mox Opal. So this is a win with Aetherflux Reservoir that, without an ad nauseum, you can never win with, I shouldn't say never. It is extremely unlikely for you to win with just Guy's Will, Debt to the Deathless. Like, you need so many resources to make that happen. Where here, we're able to do it off of considerably less resources. I'm at exactly 50. It's not enough life to win yet. But what I can do is I can Boomerang Basics my own Mox Opal. And now we can play the Mox Opal, play the Dark Ritual, play the Urza Saga, and then I guess we can just boom them with the Aetherflux. I was trying to think of being funny and doing the Tendrils of Agony on the stack, boom you with the Aetherflux Reservoir in response. But our opponent was nice enough. They didn't need to do that. And we finished with a 3-2 record. So we got to use the Aetherflux. I'm sorry it wasn't in a way to beat Veil of Summer or the Wind Ring, but I ultimately cannot control that. But we did get to do the win for Goyf. Hopefully they enjoyed it. I do think it's an upgrade over Debt to the Deathless. That said, I think Skateboard was not as good as I would have liked in this league. We never saw a Trinisphere, even though the deck we were facing in the last round does contain it. So Skateboard did not come up in that manner. So I probably shouldn't have sided it out. That's actually a mistake in hindsight on my part. We faced a Trinisphere deck and I boarded out Skateboard like a dummy. But maybe it should be the 4th Veil of Summer. There was a match in which I was facing a blue deck where I wished it was a Veil of Summer. I don't know if it would have mattered, all things considered, but it would have been better as the 4th Veil of Summer there. The deck is fine. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with Saga Storm. It's a fine deck. I do think that the Epic Storm offers you a bit more flexibility with mulliganing and answering things, but if you're not into Echo of Aeons, this is a competitive Storm deck that you can register. So thank you to Goy for the donation deck. I hope you enjoyed the video and the Aetherflux Reservoir win. Thank you to all of you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. And I hope you all have a great day. Keep storming. Thanks for checking out today's video. I really do appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff in order to support us. Another way you could support us, picking up an Epic Storm mini token combo pack from theepicstorm.com/shop, and it would have made playing this video much easier if I had an efficient way of counting my storm and mana.